Hi students. All right, we're on to our next video. This is a video that's going to talk about writing effective reports, police reports. And you will find that every department, every police department, whether you're a lawyer, whether you're in evidence or you're in all different parts writing reports, there might be little tweaks of things that are different, that each department or jurisdiction likes a certain way. But you'll find that there are certain things that are consistent throughout. So that's what we're really going to be covering today is how to write effective reports and really get you going to writing your first police report assignment. All right, so one thing you should know is that police reports are a permanent record. All the police reports that I wrote decades and decades ago are still in the what we call CAD system. It's computer automated system where everything is kept. Every jurisdiction, again, will have something different depending on what they utilize, but they're a permanent record. They are always there. Sometimes cases don't go to court for all kinds of various reasons. Could be 10, 20, 30 years. And sometimes you don't always remember every little detail about a case or what you did pertaining to a certain action or issue. And therefore, that report is all that you have. Also, right now, it's great. A lot of police departments have body cameras. A lot don't due to budgeting issues, things like that. They're very expensive. Not the cameras themselves. A lot of departments can get the cameras for free. It's just the amount of storage needed for all of that video. I mean, you can imagine if you take a video, how you can't even send, a 2-minute video via email without putting it on the drive, things like that. Can you imagine hours and hours per one officer? And then if your department has hundreds or thousands of officers, that's a lot of data storage. Plus, if you're going to be retrieving that data, that could take a part-time position or a full-time position to get budgeted. So anyhow, even if you have body cameras, they're only one perspective. They are not like having 5 drones surrounding you, getting every single perspective from every different viewpoint. So therefore, that written record is still very important. All right, use of police reports. So I kind of have some highlights in orange on this PowerPoint, but they are to examine the past, to keep other officers informed, to continue investigations. You might have, for example, with police reports, obviously your primary police officer might respond. They take that primary police report. Every report done by a detective that investigates or another officer that goes out and talks to somebody is filed as a follow-up to that main police report. So continuing investigations follow up as follow-up reports to that first main report to that first officer or whoever was there out on the scene at the time. Obviously, they help prepare court cases, they provide facts, they help to evaluate performance of officers. A lot of times we had some amazing officers that did great in the field, but when it came to report writing, they just were not able to put into words into a computer, onto a database, what happened. And we lost those officers throughout field training. So writing reports and being able to write is a very important part of the CCJ field. Obviously, refresh a witness's or officer's memory. Again, if it's been, sometimes, you go to a lot of calls, busy police departments, you may go to 20, 30 calls a day. You may take 4, 5, 10 police reports. If you don't go to court for several months or years, or even decades, you forget that. So that report is all you have. And if you don't write it down, it's not there. Obviously, crime stats come from there. I remember filling out many police reports, and before you even started typing the written narrative of what happened, you are filling out things like it occurred between this time and this time on this date and that date. This is the modus of operation, the MO of how on a burglary the suspect got into the house. If you saw a suspect, what did they look like? What was their race? What was their hair color? What was the length of their hair, eyes? I mean, just body types, just so many things. And that all goes to how, for example, if you've ever researched anything, that's how you get all that information, is the officers filling out and entering in all those boxes. All right, who reads police reports? This is where you should be scared. Sometimes your police report may sit out there and no one ever reads it. It could be an information report that's just out there just in case something happens, it's there. But sometimes you could have peers, supervisors, all different types of attorneys, jurors, government officials, insurance investigators, citizens, media. So it's a reflection of you. And believe me, you can ask any district attorney's office, defense attorney, jurors, anybody, and they can really tell you how important a police report is, how it's written. Whether it's written well in grammar and it has the details, or maybe it's overboard with the details. Sometimes there's some information that's too much to put in there. All right, police reports should include what? Well, I can tell you when I started as a police officer, I went to many calls and interviewed many people, like maybe they just were robbed or their house was just burglarized. It's amazing how in the moment you forget to ask certain things. So I came up with kind of a who, what, where, when, and I have to tell you, it's really that. You ask the who, what, when, where, how, why, and it's a chronological perspective from the cop's point of view. So the cop is writing chronologically. I got here, I did A, B, C, D. You don't go A, Z, T, B. You go chronologically in order with what happened, and it answers all of these questions. And I can tell you the main issues that I see with students in CCJ 300 police report issues all have to do with detail. They don't answer the who, what, where, when, why, how, and they don't enable the reader who wasn't there, who doesn't know anything about the call, to reenact in their mind what happened. So I always tell students this is a good thing to do. Once you write your police report, give it to a friend, give it to the writing center, and if they were to have two people stand up and reenact, like act out what happened just from your report, can it be done? For example, if you say, I grabbed the suspect by their arm. Right now, I probably have almost 30 students watching this video throughout the week. Some of you might think that they grabbed the arm right here. Some of you might think that they grabbed the arm right here, or right here, or the hand. You really need to say, I took my right hand and I placed my right hand on the suspect's left wrist and I grabbed the left wrist. And then, does that make sense? So that if somebody reads it, two people could stand up and reenact what happened. If your report doesn't do that and answer the who, what, when, where, and why, and how, you need to add more details. All right, common problems in police reports. Number one, unclear sentences. You read a sentence and you're like, this makes no sense, I don't understand. Opinions. Police reports are not a place to make opinions. It is the facts. Wordiness, police jargon. We'll talk about that. And you also have a couple links that'll talk about not using police jargon. Missing incomplete information. Again, details, details, details. I can tell you already, if you don't pay attention to the details, I will be answering and grading your police reports and saying, not enough details. I had no idea what happened. What happened here? How did this happen? You'll say that you fell to the ground with the suspect. Well, how? Were you on your knees? Were you on your back? Did your hands hit? Where did the suspect? Just details. You can't just say, I grabbed the suspect and we fell to the ground. If you can imagine trying to reenact that, there's many different ways that can happen. So you got to be detailed. Obviously, misspelled words, grammatical errors, and then finally, not in chronological order. The basic purpose of an investigative report is to record the facts. So therefore, you don't want opinions, you only want facts. So let me give you an example. Fact: the man has a bulge in his black leather jacket pocket. That's a fact. So you can write that in a police report. But if you say the man is probably carrying a gun, that's an inference that you are making. Do not do that in police reports. Or black leather jackets are cool. Obviously, we don't want that in police reports either. Opinions are not a place for police reports. All right. Inferences. Let's give an example. Can prove valuable information. So if I say the man did not walk a straight line versus the man could not walk a straight line. So you want to make sure that They are based on evidence. Is it did not or could not? Because those are two very different things. So make sure you pay attention to that when you're writing. All right, content versus form. Content refers to what is said. So the content of an effective report is factual, accurate, objective, and complete. Form refers to how it's written. So it must be written concise, clearly, grammatically, and mechanically correct, and in standard English. All right, objective and subjective. You ever heard somebody say, I can't give you an objective viewpoint because I'm too involved? Well, that's what we mean. You have to be non-opinionated. You have to be fair, impartial, and unbiased. All right, you tell the story. These are, remember I told you details? Don't forget these next rules as well. Number one, past tense. You write in the past tense. Do not go back and forth and write in the future and write in the present tense and in the past. It's all in the past. I was dispatched to this address. Mary Smith told me this. Past tense. Next, first person. You're writing it. You're the police officer. So I did this. I did that. I told Mary Smith this. I told her this. I grabbed her here. It's first person. And then active voice means chronologically telling the story. Be concise. Again, the more clear you are, the better. And also remember, it's your legacy. This report stands not only to prove a certain case with what happens. Can you imagine if you were a victim of a crime and the police officer didn't take the time to write a well-written, factual, non-opinionated, objective, detailed report, and the case was thrown out? So you want to make sure that it backs up not only who you're trying to protect, but it also backs up your legacy and your reputation. All right, that is it. We'll see you for the next video.